What is up, Sheepdog Nation? Welcome to another episode of the Sheepdog Nation podcast with your host, me, Autumn Schmidt. It's been a minute. I'm excited to be back. Summer has been kicking off in full swing. My life has been insanely crazy. If you didn't know, I accepted a position as a criminal justice professor, as well as my part-time position in law enforcement at a very small little police department, doing community policing essentially, and as well as running my business. So I have been very, very busy. So I have a lot of things to tell you about and talk to you about, but what today's episode is going to be about is the sheepdog on vacation. And the reason why is because I just got back. Adam and I, we just got back from our Nantucket / Cape Cod yearly vacation, and it was amazing. But there was a lot of times, we had a lot of discussions. That's a cool thing, that like the fact that, you know, I'm married to a cop and I am one, like it's pretty cool because we have a lot of discussions, and we're very open and real with each other. And I thought, you know what the hell? Sheepdog Nation needs to hear this. And so that's what we're going to be discussing today. So the thing is that we kind of get ourselves in situations as law enforcement, as first responders as a whole, where our lives are so busy and we become the man or the woman, right? Like, we're type A personalities. We want to be the best. We want to be called on. We want to be number one. We want all of these things. And yet, you know, we freaking forget. Like, we totally kind of forget that we need downtime and that we need like time to relax, and we need those things. It's really fucking important that we have those things in our lives, and that we do, you know, act like normal human beings sometimes, as much as none of us enjoy that, or we think we don't enjoy that, or it's hard for us to do it. It's very necessary. You know, there's a lot of different trains of thoughts around taking vacations, taking time off, PTO, calling out sick when you're not really sick, but you need a down day. Like, there's a lot of thoughts around that. And I'm going to share with you mine. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, you know, vacation prep and all that. So, you know, when I started out, I had been working in law enforcement for 2 years when I got hired by a full-time police department, and I think I was 21 at the time, 22. I think I just turned 22. And so I had gotten out of the academy. Like, I had been working with them for about a year. I worked 6 months prior to going into the police academy, and a full-time, it was full-time, but in Maine, you can work, I think it's up to 1 year at a full-time status prior, if you have plans, like if the agency has reserved you a spot in the academy, so then you can do that. And so I worked 6 months on the road, and then I went to the academy for 6 months. And when I got out, about 2 months later, I'm like, fuck, I need a vacation, you know, like I need to go take a week off. And I remember kind of catching some shit a little bit from some of the guys. And I remember a senior guy, you know, pulling me aside and just saying, listen, what you need to do is you need to check in with all the senior officers on your shift. And you just need to make sure that, like, they're not going on vacation the time that you are going on vacation. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, you know, that's the respectful thing to do because you're a rookie. I said, okay. And so I did that, and that was cool. And then, like, I remember talking to he's the chief now, but he was the major back then. And I always had a really good working relationship with him. I think all of his employees do. He's just one of those, you know, he's one of the rare leaders in law enforcement. I'm telling you, they're freaking rare. You know it, and I know it. And this guy is rare as they come. And he, you know, he had a real conversation with me, and he just said, look, he said, I hate it when people bang out sick. Like, we there's people that abuse it, you know. We know, like, every Friday night, like, they're going to bang out because they want, you know, Saturday and Sunday off, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, we know that there's those people. However, he goes, I'm all about, like, you guys, police officers, like, the times have changed, and, like, you need mental breaks. You need days off. Like, you need that. And he's like, I'm all about it. And I'm like, really? Like, you know? And, like, he's like, yeah. He's like, even as, even as a newer officer, he's like, you were new, I had a year on. He goes, if you want to take that week, you have those, that time, just take it. And I had obviously built up because I had worked for a full year and never missed a day, obviously. And so, just having that conversation where he was like, you need that downtime. And I think this is so important, such an important highlight for officers. We're not doing the job of a teacher, okay? We don't have summers off. You know what I'm saying? We don't work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. We have the weekends off, and our phone doesn't ring when we go off duty. We don't have that luxury in law enforcement and as first responders. Like, we just don't. We work crazy rotating schedules. And even if you're a detective, and you're working, you got a Monday through Friday gig, your phone goes off. And you have on-call weeks and hours and shit like that. And on top of that, the work that we do during the time that we are working, the work that we're doing, it takes a lot out of us. Energetically speaking, I can tell you, it just... You might not even realize what kind of energy that you're exerting throughout the day. Just a basic traffic stop. And it just takes so much out of you. You don't even realize it because you become accustomed to it. I remember going back and sit there and think for yourself. Like, remember your first traffic stop when I don't know about you, but I didn't even know my own fucking name the first time I ever did a traffic stop. I was so afraid. Like, and my FTO was amazing, walked me through it, but like, there is so much going on a traffic stop, and I mean, just so much. And then it all depends, and then don't even add the cars around you or whatever's going on around you. Don't even have to add that in and for it to be stressful, but add it in because that's always an element. And then add in the driver and if they have occupants and like what the violation is. And, you add all of that in and it is a very stressful situation. Now, I understand after you've been doing it for so long, it obviously is second nature. It's second nature to all of us. Before you know it, you're, banging out 10 traffic stops an hour. But, I know you're thinking right now, joke's on you, Clifford, because I don't do that. But anyways, so... there's so much going on and you don't even realize it. And so then, we're just going to talk about just straight up traffic stops. That's all we're going to talk about. We don't even need to get into calls. We don't need to get into the politics. We don't need to get into anything else. If you could just focus on traffic stops, like right in this analogy that I'm about to give you, like just that. And just the amount of stress you deal with from that you don't even know that you're really dealing with because you've become so accustomed to handling that amount of stress, that amount of anxiety, that amount of hypervigilance where your eyes are literally fucking bulging out of your head and they're behind your head. And you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not normal. And so you wonder why when you go home, you are on a complete fucking downhill, like, I'm soaking into my couch. I'm soaking into my chair. Like, you wonder why. And you wonder why when you're like, I don't even do anything exciting, right? Like, maybe, you work at a smaller PD or you work, for a college campus or whatever, or rural PD. Maybe you work rural, patrol and like you don't have a ton going on, right? But the thing is it doesn't matter. You could stop cars. You're always ready for it. You're always thinking worst case scenarios. You're always thinking about what's going to happen, what could happen, all these things. And you don't understand the toll that is taking on you, on your nerves. Think about your central nervous system. Think about your nerves for a minute. Holy shit. I can tell you that I have had the opportunity, as to speak with thousands of police officers all across the world through this beautiful podcast that we have created together as Sheepdog Nation. And I now mentor, I think I have about 23 police officers, sheepdogs that I mentor personally inside of the Sheepdog family program. So P.S. doors will be opening for that in the next 2 weeks. So keep your eyes and ears open if that's something you want to be in on. Anyways, and so everybody's stressed the fuck out. Everybody has anxiety. Everybody gets stressed out. Everybody is very hypervigilant. Everybody is dealing with the same feelings. And it doesn't matter what you do. Okay, so if you work down at freaking Miami-Dade PD, right? Or whatever, Miami, LA, Las Vegas. I mean, you name it. You go work in like a busy place. So you know what I'm talking about. Obviously, like your stress levels are through the damn roof. But it doesn't matter, you guys. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, even if you don't and all you do is conduct traffic stops, more cops get killed on fucking traffic stops, and we know this. And we've seen this. So your stress level is always through the roof. If you are not purposely taking care of yourself and shutting, those worries, those nerves off, you are on your way to a burnout, my friends. And it may not happen in your first 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. But after year 5 of not, balancing that out, you are on your way to a burnout. And what does burnout look like? Well, how about depression? How about burnout? Being burned out is feeling like depressed, meaning I don't want to do anything. I have no motivation. I don't want to go to work. Do not send me another call. You feel lethargic. You feel tired. You have zero energy. You are not excited. Everybody annoys the hell out of you. There is nothing in your life that excites you at all anymore. You are just going through the motions. You are like, what the hell am I going to do with myself? What am I going to do with my life? Like this just sucks. It fucking sucks. And that's the thoughts that you have constantly. Those are the emotions that you're feeling. And again, it could be any variable. People who experience burnout experience a whole lot of things. I'm just saying those are a lot of the most common ones. Those are the ones that I have faced myself, and I have watched others close to me face. And so the thing about that is we experience burnout when we do not balance, our nervous system, when we do not, take that time to shut off. And I can tell you that, and this is important for all the spouses to hear. If you're a spouse, pay attention. Like, being home doesn't make me shut off ever. It doesn't make me feel more relaxed. It doesn't make me feel more comfortable. Being home does not do that to me. Obviously, it kicks it down a notch from being, in service. But it doesn't necessarily do that to me. What makes me feel relaxed, and what I think for a lot of police officers do it, going to certain places, traveling, getting in my vehicle or going to certain places that it's not my norm. It's not where chaos happens. You got to think, like, at your house, you get the text messages, you get the phone calls, you got to deal with bullshit. You gotta, your house or your apartment or wherever you're living, you gotta deal with bullshit there. Cause we do. I mean, you gotta keep it up. I'm not being negative. It's the truth. It's just one more thing that we have to do, right? And so what happens is that can all compound, and so you become very unhappy. You don't really want to be at home. Normal. I just want to throw that out there. Completely normal. And this is why it is so damn important for you to find your places that make you escape, that cause you to escape those feelings. And that is where vacations, traveling, doing different things, putting yourself in an environment that's different, but a relaxing environment. This is the difference between, normal people and cops. We don't just like to go vacation anywhere. Now, we're not all the same, because some of you crazy motherfuckers enjoy vacationing out in Las Vegas. Well, that, to me and my husband, is pure fucking torture. We do not enjoy that chaos. Absolutely, positively not. That is not a relaxing environment to me. We made that trip, and I'll be honest with you, I will never do it again. Unless it's for, as a vacation, I will not do it. If it's a work, if I'm going out there for work, that's one thing, but not to relax. I could not relax. Neither one of us could relax. The only time we relaxed was in our hotel room. Everything was so busy. It was chaotic. It was loud noises everywhere. Okay, to contrast that, Adam and I spend every year we go to Cape Cod, and we spend our week on a private beach, and that is complete relaxation to us. We are on a private beach, like I said, and we are not, it's not crazy, it's not chaotic, you know what I mean? I obviously can't control all of my surroundings, but I feel a lot more in control than not. And I don't feel like all this unexpected bullshit's going to happen and come up. And it is a time where we can unwind, relax, unplug, turn the phone off, put it away, put it on do not disturb, deal with it when I want to. And that causes us both to recharge our batteries. And I think it's important that you and your spouse, you guys find those places. And as a sheepdog spouse, it is very important for you to know all of this. And after you've been with your spouse for a while, then you get to know their mojo, right? Like you get to know what environments are going to make them relax and what environments are going to absolutely positively not cause them to relax, and you want to avoid them. And as a sheepdog, you want to avoid them too. Do not go places because it's going to make everybody happy. No, because you are going to be miserable, and then you just wasted, $2,000 on a week's vacation that you go back to work and you're just as freaking stressed out because you just faced a different kind of stress and you weren't able to really unplug. So, that's the reality, and it's really, really important. I've had the opportunity, I haven't traveled everywhere, but I have traveled a good amount. And we've even got, we've been to Florida for a week or two. And while, it's cool because we were off duty, we were like the rest of the population. It just really wasn't relaxing for us because we were doing all this traveling and running around. And, our kind of relaxation is either on our boat in the middle of a lake, totally just living the boat life, because there's, neither one of us are getting called out then. We're in the middle of a freaking lake right now, so that's nice. Or, when we go away, we love to do all-inclusive vacations, ex-nay on the Dominican. We love to do stuff like that. We love to go to the beach. That is how my husband and I relax. What is important is for you to figure that out for yourself. What's important is for you to take that time and to not spend it on stupid shit, like meaning your money on stupid shit so that you can't take vacations. Vacations are vital, in my opinion, for sheepdogs. You have got to relax. You've got to balance out, all of that anxiety, that stress that you feel, that you've gone through, that you go through on a day-to-day basis, all that anxiety. You've got to learn how to balance it, and you've got to truly learn how to relax. And that's another topic for another day, is, your inability to relax. Like that's normal, because I bet you're sitting here listening to me and you're like, geez, I don't even know the last time I relaxed. I don't know, Autumn, relax. Huh. And I get it. Totally. I know that I'm really into meditation, and I'm really into, being zen as fuck. And, I'm really into all that stuff. But the reason I'm so into it is because I literally cannot relax. I have spent the majority of my life, I was, anxiety stricken before I had any idea what anxiety was, very anxious, very worried, tight stomach, breathing through my chest, tight chest, always kind of sucking my stomach in, not even realizing, just very, very tense, just not chilling, just not going with the flow, not, able to relax. And sometimes that's in that, type A personality that we all have. But what is important, and what I've learned in my, my later years, is that without that balance, there's really no way for me to recharge those batteries. And so, again, I know I've said it 1,000 times, by the end of this, episode, but I just think it's important because I don't know if enough of you are taking time for yourself, and I don't know if you're taking the right kind of, time off for yourself. I feel like some of you and, us I feel like a lot of cops, they don't take the time off because they're afraid, because they're, I'm not going to bang out sick even though I need this mental health day. Like I'm done. Like I am done, and then what happens? You end up going to work and you end up writing everybody and you end up getting 10 fucking complaints, and, or you end up going hands-on with somebody, and, normally you never would have, but you just needed a mental health day. And because of A, B, and C, you didn't, just those things, you've been working really hard for an entire year and you haven't taken any time off for yourself, and it's, you're fucking burnt, and you're snapping at your family, and you're snapping at, people on the road, and like, yeah, it's time for you to take some time off. Some of us cause ourselves to be too financially strapped so that we cannot take time off. Well, that's what I'm asking you to avoid. Try to avoid that. Try to avoid becoming too strapped. Try to figure out, what causes you to relax, what kind of vacation would cause you to relax, and do that. Don't set yourself up for taking 5 days off or 4 days off and having it be mindless time. It's precious time. Your time is precious. Your time off, we know that, specifically is incredibly precious, and don't waste it. Don't waste it sitting there playing video games or sitting at your house. I mean, I know you think that you're relaxing, but you're not. I've been there. Even when I used, I'd bang out sick and I just felt so stressed out. I'm like, oh my God, I just banged out sick. Now everybody's going to hate me, and, so I'm just saying, be mindful when you take time off. Be conscious of the fact that you really need to take time for yourself. Yeah. So that's what I have for you today on this episode of the Sheepdog Nation podcast.
And that was another episode of Sheepdog Nation. If you enjoyed this podcast, please go to iTunes and let us know by giving us a rating. If you have questions that you want answered by Autumn in the podcast, submit it by going to the link in the show notes. As always, stay safe and watch your six.